Hello and welcome to Segments with Mark and Amber. Segments is a podcast where we choose a topic and we discuss it in a variety of segments. And tonight I'm asking the question, what's the deal with those sitcoms?
I love it. This is episode 25. We are talking all about our favorite situational comedies.
Yeah, that's why I played that funny Seinfeld bit.
It's a great song. It makes me want to dance. I love it.
She was dancing.
I was dancing.
You couldn't see it, but she was dancing. Yes, I'm excited that we're going to be talking about sitcoms. Of course, with me, I don't know if I introduced you,
I don't think you did.
is Amber, my lovely wife.
Hello, hello.
Amber, are you so happy to be in the palatial segment studios again?
I am. I don't know how you keep the echo down in here, but
It is difficult.
It's just beautiful.
So what do we got on the docket for tonight?
Well, for episode 25, we are going to be doing one of our classic top fives, and we're also going to have a fun quiz.
Yes, I believe in the last episode, Amber, correct me if I'm wrong, we played a quiz wherein you tried to win a prize, a sticker, for Brian, and you were unable to do it.
The first failure.
Yeah.
The first time I was not able to win a sticker for a listener.
Tonight you have another chance.
Yeah.
So, and Brian, don't worry, we've not forgotten about you. We're going to try again. And as I was creating the quiz, Amber and I have been talking a little bit like, man, why am I doing I've been writing a lot of the quizzes lately.
Yes.
And I realized it's because I couldn't answer these.
Really?
It's because you are very savvy and you're very smart, and I would be an uninteresting, and many people would not win a thing.
Oh, that's a nice way. I think that you do the quizzes because you're able to come up with a creative quiz style. Mm-hmm. You think outside the box. I could Google sitcom quiz, and maybe I could pick the best 3 questions from one and the best 2 questions from another, but I can't figure out how to make it my own.
Well, Amber, what I love about this show is that we both have our strengths that we are bringing into the stew, which is segments.
Or the slice. We're both 2 segments, 2 slices of an orange that come together to make a whole.
To make a whole, exactly. So we are making a whole tonight. And as always, you can communicate with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at SegmentsCast, or shoot us an email at segmentscast@gmail.com.
Yes.
We have 0 corrections and apologies. Have your brother stopped listening?
I think we've just gotten better. Oh. We know everything there is to know about ice cream.
Okay. Well, let's jump right into feedback then. Amber, did we get any feedback about the great ice cream episode?
We did. We asked some other people out there, what are your favorite ice creams? And we did get some responses here. We heard from podcast favorite Bobby Joe. She has not met an ice cream she didn't like. I'm pretty much with you there, Bobby Joe, except for the nuts.
I've met a couple ice creams that I don't like.
Yeah.
So, then Audrey, she said cake batter.
Oh, that was one of my top 5.
One of yours.
Yes.
And her papa, Greg, said Blue Moon. I don't know if Greg listens. We'll see.
I don't think so, but I had said, I don't know if it was on the podcast, that, yeah, because you said children's personalities were determined early on, like their ice cream, and I said, I don't know a lot of adults that eat Blue Moon, and boom,
there he
here's
is.
Greg.
There's one right there.
I think he's an adult.
He's similar.
Next, we have Tori. She said for a really long time it was grasshopper, which is dark chocolate pieces and mint ice cream. I don't think I've
ever had that.
I think that mint chocolate chip would just be milk chocolate pieces. So dark chocolate is probably a little bit more gourmet.
Okay, and this is from Sherman's.
From
is that
Sherman's.
In
I think
South
it's
Haven?
that one you wait in a long line for.
Mm-hmm.
Now she likes key lime pie from Plainwell Ice Cream, stealing the number 1 spot. So she goes out of her way. Those are not towns that she lives in.
Yeah.
She goes out of her way for her favorite ice cream.
We are surrounded by great ice cream places.
True.
And here's a new one that we have just discovered. Our friend Justin, he says it depends on where I'm getting the ice cream. If he's just going to Meijer, he's with the Hudsonville Creamery Blend Vanilla. A man after my own heart. Oh, man, I cut off some of his response here. He said at Cold Stone, he likes strawberry with brownie mixed in. And then he also...
Lafayette Creamery.
Yes, at Lafayette Creamery, he loves the sea salt and olive oil ice cream.
And that got some responses right away. People were like,
very
what?
excited about that.
What is this?
And I was like, man, I'm not often in Lafayette, but maybe I should
exactly.
head over there. I Googled it. It's right in our town. It's right in Texas Corners. And Amber and I, for our anniversary, we swung out to Texas Corners Brewery, I think is what it's called, and we had a great dinner there. And then we crossed the street, went to Lafayette Ice Cream Shop, and we tried the sea salt and olive oil ice cream.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because we said, I think we're just going to get one of these small containers to go. And the lady said, would you like to try a sample first?
And we said, well, sure. And so she gave us 2 little spoons of this great ice cream, and we tasted it. And I said, give me one of your cookie doughs. No, cookies and cream is what I got, yeah.
And I got a black cherry. But the thing is, Justin, we went there just because of you.
Just because of you.
And we tried it. So it's cold, and it has some pieces of salt in it.
I did like the saltiness. There was something else. Maybe it was the olive oil that just didn't sit quite right with my taste buds.
Yeah, I don't know if it maybe had a different texture to it because of the oil. I don't know if you could really taste it. To me, it was less flavorful than vanilla, which is not really what I'm going for in my ice cream. It was
less flavorful. Wow, that's a very harsh criticism coming from Amber.
Yes.
So, awesome. Well, thank you so much for the feedback, though, Justin. It was fun going out and trying it, and it was pretty good.
Chloe said that her favorite was black cherry with chocolate chunks in it. That sounds very good to me.
Interesting. I don't know where you would get that.
Maybe Ben & Jerry's?
Could be. Carrie said coffee with bits of Heath Bar.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds pretty good. Maybe something you could get at like Cold Stone. Have them kind of do the mix-ins.
Yeah.
Which we didn't talk much about Cold Stone. That's real good.
It is real good. I don't want to go there ever because it's so small. There's no place to sit.
Oh, the restaurant itself is so small. Correct. Peter said cookie dough. Classic. Everybody loves cookie dough. And Ellen said just about any kind that has peanut butter in it.
Ah, so I liked the peanut butter chocolate. I think that might have been my number one from Baskin Robbins.
I remember it, yeah.
Adam showed me. He got an ice cream that was the peanut butter chocolate just like that, but it also had some kind of chocolate, peanut butter, caramel stuffed pretzels or something like that in it. You would never eat it,
that seems like a bit
definitely
much.
Sounded intriguing to me.
Yeah. And our friend Jessica said, I don't think I have a favorite because I like variety so much. Hey, amen, sister. But it has to be vegan and gluten-free. So it seemes like that would turn the variety down quite a bit.
Yes. Hopefully there's still a lot of variety out
I'm
there
sure there is
you,
in this day and age.
Yeah. My mom's favorite was from Ritter's, and it's turtle something. So that'd be
Ritter's,
caramel and
another
pecans.
Caramel pecans? Yeah, I don't know. I've never had it. But yeah, another great ice cream place here in town.
Yes.
And then friend of the show, Adam, who we love very much. We love all of you people very much. He said it depends on the meal you've had before the ice cream. And then he sent this great video of Ira and Barry in City Slickers from 1991.
I wonder if he just remembered that. I mean, I've seen this movie, but only once.
Could it be?
I did not remember this
He
at
has
all.
a very good memory for such things.
He does.
Man.
So this is a couple guys sitting out there with Billy Crystal in the desert. And this one guy's talent is that he can pick the perfect ice cream to have as a dessert after any meal. And there's a little bit here. So if you go onto our post and see if you can find it, it is on.
Or just
Mark posting on segments.
Or just go to
Google.
YouTube and go to YouTube and search Ira and Barry in City Slickers.
Yeah.
The challenge, and you will find that.
It's
so
pretty funny.
Adam, we always love it when you share videos with us. You're our favorite video sharer.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, there we go. Thank you guys so much for the feedback. We're so glad that you wrote in, and it's fun to look through other people's favorites. But Amber, let's move right into what's making you happy.
What is making me happy?
Yeah, sure.
I am super happy that we are only 2 days away at the time of recording from the next season of Big Brother.
I just want to warn people in the listening audience that Big Brother 20 will be Amber's What's Making Me Happy for the rest of the summer.
Oh, my goodness. It's so fun.
It might be a different aspect of Big Brother, but it will be Big Brother. Have no doubt.
It might be Big Brother and something. I could just try to find another. I could give you a little Big Brother update, and then... So this one, season 20. So the very first season... See, I would have thought No, it wasn't the first season. It was when Josh was born. But anyway, there was definitely Big Brother when Josh was born. He's 18 now. So it would have been the second season, maybe the third. Anyway, I remember watching it in the hospital when he was born, isn't it, though? So I watched the first few seasons, every single episode, got super into it. I took a break somewhere there in the middle, and now I've been back for, I don't know, the last 10 years or so. It's a summer tradition. It's a fun reality show. It's like a light, Survivor Light, because everybody's in this nice air-conditioned house in L.A.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they can't leave. They can't communicate with the outside world. They have competitions to see who's going to lead the group, and they vote each other out, and there's all sorts of social dynamics, and I just love it.
Yeah. And last summer, I tried to, I think I maybe accomplished it, but I tried to watch it with Amber. But it's way more difficult than watching Survivor because there are 3 episodes a week.
Yeah, 3
and
nights
it
a
just
week.
Keeps coming out. And it's just like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I'll drop in and see what's happening, but I don't know if I can commit to the whole season this summer. But we'll see. Amber will keep me posted and let me know what's happening.
Yeah, it's perfect for the teacher's schedule because I can easily record it and then watch it the next morning. I don't have to be there, sitting there right when it records, and I've got my mornings pretty free right now.
That's great. Well, that's awesome.
So if anybody else is out there watching it, shoot me a message. I'd love to discuss.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll do something fun for the 20th
at Segments
season.
Cast on Twitter, #BB20. So
Ooh, there you go.
there you go. Anyway, all right. Well, that's awesome, Amber.
Mark, what's making you happy right now?
Well, Amber, what's making me happy right now is something new that I just got yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
As we record this, it's Olukai shoes. And now, I don't mean Orukai, the advanced breed of orcs that serve Saruman and Saruman.
That is what it What's the deal with those orcs? I knew it reminded me of something. That's what it was.
That's what it is. And no, this is Olukai, is a fancy shoe from Hawaii. And I first saw them on the feet of my friend Graham. And as you know, Graham has a boat, and he was enjoying the boating lifestyle with these Olukai shoes.
Yes.
And my wonderful mother-in-law wanted to buy me a pair of shoes for Father's Day. And so we went over to our friends at V and something Bootery. V and W. V&A Bootery. And I was looking around, and I see these shoes, the exact same ones that my friend Graham has, and I try them on. I wear a 10. Tried on a size 10, too big. And so I was like, that's weird. And so I tried on a size 9. They fit perfectly. Come to find out, I was doing a little research on the shoes. Almost everybody wears a size smaller.
Oh, that's good to know.
Shoes. So, and they're great. They're like these kind of mesh. The ones I got are mesh, and you can just slip them on. You can wear them with socks. You can wear them without socks. You can wear them. You can get wet. It's fine. They have this like collapsible heel, so you can just slip them on like clogs, I believe is what the guy said.
He did say like clogs. Because sometimes people just push in the back of their heel, and that's bad for your shoe. But this is made to do it.
Made to do it.
It collapses, and then it pops right back up.
And it's a light shoe. I wore it all day today, and it was comfortable, and it was fantastic. And I'm excited about this shoe.
Yeah. Do you think most people assume that you have a boat?
I hope so.
Yeah,
I want to give off the vibe that I'm the kind of a person that has a boat.
To reference a sitcom, it could be like the one where Joey found, I think it was like the Ferrari keys, and he just stood around saying like, oh, where did I park my Ferrari? And like jingling the keys. Yeah, there you go. At one point, he made the shape of a car just made out of boxes and covered it up and pretended like it was his car, and he bought like a Ferrari jacket, and he just stood there. So you could put some boxes in the shape of a boat and kind of cover them with a tarp and stand there.
I could just put it out in our yard. Yeah.
Maybe you could just like carry around an anchor or something, or a life jacket like you're on your way.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great idea. So I don't have a boat yet, but I did watch a video. This is What's Making Me Happy Plus, I guess.
Ooh,
A
bonus.
twofer. I watched a video about a fishing kayak, and it's I think it was 7 foot 2 inches long, something like that. And it
has the pole holders and
has
stuff.
the pole holders. It has. You can stand. It's very stable. You can stand up on it.
Really?
It's not a sit-in kayak. It's a sit on top, and you can stand. And you can. It looked.
Is that stable?
Yeah, it was. I watched the guy do it.
It was.
And so bad news, it was like $1,300.
Well,
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, but that's not the boat I want. I want a boat that's bigger than that with a motor.
yeah.
Anyway, someday that'll be my What's Making Me Happy.
Someday.
Segment 1. Top 5 sitcoms.
Well, this was tricky, Mark.
This was, it was
There's
a
a
little
lot
bit tricky.
of sitcoms out there. I wrote down no less than 21 sitcoms to choose from.
And we didn't have time to do our top 21.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, sure. It might be fun. it took me a while too, and I had an interesting take. So here's the thing, Amber. Let me give you a little caveat, as they say. This is not. If I was doing a list of the best 5 sitcoms, it might be a different list. Okay? This, what I've created for us, what I have curated for our listeners, is my top 5 sitcoms. And some of them are because of nostalgia, not because of quality.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I kind of went by what are my favorites right now. What would I like to sit down and watch right now? I've had many, many favorites over the years. Really good ones.
Yeah.
That at the time I may have liked more than one of these 5, but these are the ones that are my right now favorites. So it's a little different than yours. We might not have as much overlap in that case.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So we will see. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and start. I think you started last time, so I'm just going to jump right in here, Amber, with my number 5. A favorite of many people. This ran from 1982 to 1990, starring Bob Newhart.
Oh my gosh, that's great. That was on my 21.
It was so good. I remember watching this with my folks.
Yeah, me too.
And I think it was Bob Newhart's just incredibly dry sense of humor.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love this is I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl. And this is my other brother Daryl.
So funny every time. Michael and Stephanie.
Stephanie
they're
were
so funny.
Oh
my word.
And so basically the premise, and I had to kind of jog my memory of what the premise was, but is this author who kind of moved out into the country with his wife, and they bought this inn, and so he really didn't know much about running an inn. And there's the kind of the old handyman, and I found his name. I can't find it right now.
I can picture him.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, George Utley.
George.
He was the handyman, and then there was this maid and her boyfriend, and then Larry and Daryl, and all these cast of characters. And it was
the new guests would come in and stay at the inn and give them some storylines and stuff. Yeah,
it was just a fantastic
so
show.
Good.
So
had a
good.
great little theme song.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
I can just picture like the Vermont scenery and kind of a tinkling theme song.
Yeah, so that's my number 5. I don't have much more to say about it there, but yeah, my number 5, Newhart.
Well, cool. My number 5 is one that aired from 2015 to 2018.
Okay.
On Fox. It
90210.
No, it just stopped this year.
21 Jump Street, I'm sorry.
Those are dramas.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. There's nothing funny about those shows.
True.
It is The Last Man on Earth.
Oh, such a good one.
Only ran for 4 seasons. I believe it is officially canceled, 67 episodes. So the premise for The Last Man on Earth is that Will Forte, hilarious individual, Will Forte, is the last man on Earth. That's the premise. So
when I started watching it, he certainly was not the last man on Earth.
So the first couple episodes are actually, they're funny, but they're also really depressing, and it really makes you think what it would be like to be the last person on Earth. Maybe he's not. Maybe it only takes 1 episode for him to find somebody. I don't know. But he's literally just driving around the first episode and writing on billboards, "Meet me in Tucson," or "I'm alive in Tucson," I think is what he's writing on these billboards just all over the country. And they show him he goes to the White House. He goes to, I don't know, Mount Rushmore. He's all over the place and there's just nobody anywhere except for him. And you don't really know why at the time. And anyway, the show progresses. He turns out he's not the last person on Earth, but he's one of very few. And you just kind of are stuck with whoever you find because there's not a lot of people to choose from here on Earth. So it also stars Kristen Schaal. She's hilarious.
Fantastic.
January Jones, Mary Steenburgen.
Who's the guy who ends up, his brother was in space and comes back? What's his name?
Oh, what is his name?
Well, we'll think of it. He's really funny as well. There's a lot of great just characters in that, and then the chemistry between the whole cast is just fantastic.
I really enjoyed that. I was bummed that it got canceled. They were just starting to kind of do something new, and I was excited to see what they were going to do.
It's a bummer when those season finales are unexpectedly end up being the series finale, and you could tell they were setting up something. And now we're going to have to just write our own fanfic, I guess, for that.
Maybe it'll get picked up somewhere along the line. Jason Sudeikis is the other funny guy.
Oh, thank you, Amber. Awesome.
That was my number 5.
What I like to do is I wrap it up by going, my number 5, and then I say the name again. Do you
My
notice
number
that?
5? No. That's a good way to do it.
I don't know. That's just this is my thing.
I like that because when I'm listening to podcasts, they mention something one time and then they go on and on about it, like an actor or something, and I'm like, I can't remember what name they said.
Oh.
So my number 5, Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, that came off as corrective. It was not my intention to be
but
corrective.
I like it.
Okay.
It was good advice.
Yeah, there we go. My number 4 was a show that ran from 1986 to 1990. 4 years, 4 seasons. And this was a show that was on Mondays at 8:30.
Whoa, you remember
I
the
remember
time.
that. It was so I would have been 11 to 15 when this show was on. It was a Monday night. I would come home from school. I would do my homework, get everything done. At 8 o'clock, my dad and I would sit down and watch Mr. Ed.
That's not the one.
That is not it.
That couldn't possibly be.
And then at 8:30, we would switch from Nick at Night to probably NBC. Who knows? I didn't look. Alf.
Oh, boy.
Alf was a furry alien wise guy.
He sure was.
And he comes to live with the Tanner family after crashing into their garage. And it was, I don't know. Maybe it was because as a kid, I liked Star Wars and I like aliens. I don't know what
who wouldn't? That's a pretty good premise for kids.
And Alf and Willie's chemistry seemed
Willie,
so good. And Alf was a troublemaker, and he's always trying to eat the family cat, and Willie was trying to protect him, and there's the nosy neighbors, and it was this, I just remember it being this fantastic show. And so I looked it up either on YouTube or Netflix or something, watched the first few episodes. That does not hold up.
Oh, no.
So don't go back and watch Alf. Just remember
the greatness of it.
The nostalgia of that. And so that is not probably going to win any awards for the best sitcom ever.
But in your mind.
But it was so good. And I just remember that hour of TV. Mr. Ed, which was funny. Great, funny, classic TV show. Then Alf. Wow, great Monday night. So
very good.
My number 4, Alf.
All right. My number 4 favorite sitcom is Modern Family. I just jumped right to it. It aired 2009 through the present. It's still churning out.
Still churning.
210 episodes so far. So the premise for Modern Family, if you haven't heard of it, is that it's a family. They're all modern.
Oh.
There's a patriarch. That's Ed O'Neill. He was from Married with Children. I don't know if he did anything else, but man, I love that guy
sure
now. I did not watch a lot of Married with Children, and that he always seemed so disgusting in that show. But man, he really tugs at the heartstrings in this one.
Amazing.
He's just crotchety, but he does these sweet things, and oh my goodness. So he has remarried this younger kind of Colombian hottie,
Sofia
Vergara. Yep, and she has a son. Anyway, so that he's kind of the patriarch, and then he had 2 kids, and they both are. One's married and one's in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
With his partner. So, but they have kids, grandkids.
So so Ed O'Neill's daughter in the show, Claire, marries Phil.
Yes,
and to
Claire
me,
and Phil Dunphy,
Phil is the show.
Yeah.
Like, he is amazing. He's played by Ty Burrell, who I did not know before this show. And I tell you what, dollars to donuts, he is the funniest guy on TV.
He
I
was
just love
perfectly
him.
cast. It was pretty funny. When I looked it up, it was considered a comedy / mockumentary, and that's because they talk to the camera.
Oh.
Not as much as they do in, say, The Office or something like that, but there is some parts where they talk directly to the camera. They sit on their couch like they're being interviewed. So
Yeah, I love that. Amber, Modern Family was my number 2.
Ooh.
Interestingly. I also love Phil and Claire's kids, Luke, Haley, and Alex. I think they have a great dynamic there.
Yeah, each one is really well
very interesting,
developed
and they get
over the
better
years.
and better. And my favorite episode, I don't know if you have a favorite episode of Modern Family. It's one called Farm Strong.
Yeah, I think I probably would say that just because I enjoyed watching it with you so much.
That's one of those. Very rarely is there a show that comes on that I will not delete off the DVR because I think it's so funny. And Farm Strong on Modern Family was one of those. And this is an episode where Cam's sister comes into town with good news. I think she's pregnant.
Pregnant or engaged to
a
popular kid from high school.
Cam's ex-boyfriend, or the guy that Cam had a crush on.
Yeah, guy
that's what
Cam
it was.
had a crush on. That's what it was.
Oh my goodness! And then Phil and Claire skip Luke's soccer game, but he scores a goal, right? And it's just this. it's the writing on that show
Is it also the one with the
unbelievable.
crows? He skips the soccer game in order to clean out the gutters.
Oh, is that the same
I think
one?
so. I think so. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
So look that up if you. But it's probably funny if you know all the characters too.
Yeah, that's a fantastic show. So good job, Amber. That's a great one.
I want to watch it as soon as it gets recorded on the DVR, and now they're showing reruns, so
Yeah.
it's just it holds up. It's great.
That's great. All right. Well, Amber, my number 3 that we're at number 3 is a show that ran from 1989 to 1992 that you might very well say that is not a sitcom. It is a drama.
Uh-oh.
It's called Saved by the Bell.
Hey, there were some dramatic moments on that show.
I'm so excited. I'm so scared. Oh, man. So good. And
Yep.
Saved by the Bell was a show about some teenagers in high school when I was a teenager in high school, or maybe a little bit younger. Around that. Yeah, just, late middle school, early high school.
That's the perfect age for it, because then you really idolize them as
Idolize-
being the super coolest.
Zach, the super cool guy, AC Slater, the muscle guy, also very
yeah.
cool, more athletic. Screech, not so much cool as nerdy, and I guess Screech kind of made everybody feel like, oh, I could hang out with this crew. If
Screech is in.
If Screech is in, I could be in. Then you got Lisa, Kelly, and Jesse, the girls, and it was just a great show,
Yeah.
and my friend Mark and I would watch that every time it was out, and it was just, I don't know what it was about that show. It's got this engaging and enduring presence, right? It's a great show, and I don't know.
I'm like, that Principal Belding's out to get us again.
Oh, yeah, and they did I think we talked about it in our vacations episode way back about a year ago or so. Did you know that Segments is 1 year old?
Aw, happy birthday, Segments.
Happy birthday, Segments. Anyway, they did a great movie where the team or the crew went to Hawaii and had some adventures. And anyway, great show. Again, it's nostalgia. I'm sure it probably doesn't hold up, but great show. Saved by the Bell. Love it.
I think it's great, too.
My number 3, Saved by the Bell.
Good one. That's not an overlap. My number
Shocker.
3 aired from 2005 to 2013, 9 seasons, 201 episodes. It is The Office.
It's a good one.
The Office on NBC.
Amber, The Office was my number 1.
Oh, man.
No! So good. We can talk about it. Let's talk about it together.
So The Office was a remake of a British show, which we have not watched. And several lists I looked
I've tried to
at.
watch 1 or 2 episodes of it, and
The only time I tried to watch it was before this one came out.
okay.
And I didn't fully get it. And even when I first started watching this show, The Office, this is a mockumentary about a paper company in Pennsylvania, Scranton, Pennsylvania. And it takes a minute to get used to it because the boss character is so difficult to handle at the beginning. But boy, do you just end up loving him as a character by the end. So it's Michael Scott, played by
Steve Carell.
And he is real awkward and difficult. I feel like everybody else in the office at least starts out as just kind of like people you could imagine as your coworkers. Some of them get a little kooky as the as the time goes on, but they're all fairly normal. I've worked with a huge variety of people, and they all have their funny little bits, but trying to deal with that boss. Yeah, and then Dwight's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Dwight is one of the best parts of the show. He is played by Rainn Wilson, of course, and just the constant combativeness between Dwight and oh my goodness, John Krasinski's character, Jim, and I loved it. When Jim put all of Dwight's office things in Jello mold, or no, it was a stapler or something like that in a Jello mold, and he put all his desk stuff in the
bathroom?
The vending machine.
Oh, in the vending machine, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I think he put his desk in the bathroom once. One time he wrapped it all with paper, but it wasn't really there. And Dwight tried to sit down, and it wasn't there. So they're just constantly playing pranks on each other, and more pranks from Jim than Dwight getting upset.
Yes. Yeah. So many great characters. So The Office was my number 1. And my favorite episode is one that many people have a very difficult time watching. My very favorite is Scott's Tots.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard to watch.
Hey, Mr. Scott, What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Make our dreams come true. And he promises when these kids are in like kindergarten or something, he promises them that because he thinks he's going to get rich someday, that he's going to pay their college tuition. And now they're graduating high school, and they invite him in, and he can't. And he ends up buying them all like laptop batteries.
Batteries, not even a laptop. And he brings Pam with him. I don't think she knows what she's getting into when she gets there. And it's so horrible. Yeah. Oh my gosh. He just lets them celebrate him knowing that he's about to. I wonder what Enneagram number he is.
Oh my goodness.
Whew.
That's so good.
It's tough to watch.
That was a tough one. And then Diversity Day.
Yes.
Oh, another great episode. There was an episode later in the season, throughout the series, I believe, you see Michael Scott is writing this book.
Yeah.
And it's called Threat Level Midnight. And there's an episode late in the series where they actually reenact or they act out Threat Level Midnight. And it's such a...
That with Michael Scarn.
Michael Scarn. So good. And I even like the late episodes. People say, once Steve Carell left the show, that the show wasn't any good anymore. I liked the Andy... plot line where he would take over, and I thought it was funny. And then what was the super crazy boss? Remember there was the episode where he's like
Robert California,
whatever you do not hire my wife.
Oh my gosh,
that was maybe one of the other best episodes. So good.
Yes. Oh wow, that's too funny.
Yeah.
You're right. Yep, I really liked it all the way to the end.
So good.
Good series.
So that was your what?
My number 3 was The Office.
Number 3, The Office. All right. My number 2 was Modern Family. We've already discussed it. Amber, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is aired from 1989 to 1998. 9 seasons, but only 180 episodes. Seinfeld.
Oh. I had... That's another classic, fantastic. And that one actually holds up.
Yeah. So when it first came out, 1989, I'll reveal my age here. I would have been 14.
Hello.
I did not fully understand all the greatness that was Seinfeld at the time. A lot of it went over my head. A lot of the cultural references I didn't get. Maybe some of the adult-themed jokes went over my head. But when I got to high school and kind of got a little bit older, I started to really appreciate it. And that, I feel like it does hold up. I was watching it just last week or the week before, and there are still some references about what was happening politically or something back then that are, outdated now, of course. But the comedy really holds. So Jerry
good.
Seinfeld's
Absolutely.
a stand-up comedian. He does a little stand-up at the beginning and the end of each episode. You can definitely tell that some of the stuff that storylines they have were his comedy bits that they fleshed out into a story. But the 4 friends, Jerry, Elaine, George, and Kramer, basically really selfish people.
Yeah. And then it's basically a show about nothing, which
that's their whole premise.
It's a plot in when Jerry and George are trying to sell a show to NBC or something. They're like, it's a show about nothing.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you talking about?
How would that possibly work? But yeah, we've been watching it for years.
Yeah. It's such a great show. Again, the chemistry in that cast is amazing. I don't really remember knowing anything about any of them before that show came out, and I didn't watch it. I'm the same age as you when I was 14, 15, 16. I don't remember when I first saw it, but now every single one of them is just like an icon.
Yep.
And what is Julia Louis-Dreyfus? She's in Veep right now. Is that what
she's done
doing?
several. She did that New Adventures of Old Christine.
It was great. She's funny.
She's great. I don't think Kramer. I don't know what he's done. George. I don't know. Jerry's very
Jerry's
rich.
Doing
comedians and
he's
with cars.
He's doing stand up now. He restarted doing stand up. He rewrote jokes and did a documentary about that. He's doing comedians riding in car. I can't remember what it's called, but which I've not seen. I'm sure it's pretty good. So that's a great one. I love Seinfeld.
Yep. I think that was to me the epitome of the situational comedy, where they just would get themselves into a weird situation. There's a whole one where they can't find their car in a parking garage. There's one where they're waiting to get a table at a restaurant. and they make it into a whole episode. They've always got something weird about who they're dating. Remember, Jerry dates the close talker, and he dates somebody who can't laugh. She can only say, "That's funny." And of course, being the comedian, that drives him crazy. And yeah, George's wife with the wedding envelopes. He gets the cheap envelopes for his wedding, and she ends up poisoning herself by licking the envelopes and dying. And oh my goodness, but it's in a funny way.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's a great one.
That's a good show.
All right. There you
my
go.
number 2, Seinfeld.
All right. Well, my number 1 was The Office. So I'm going to give you one of my runners-up.
Okay, cool.
Here, I'll throw this in here. And this could have easily made my top 5 on a different day, or if it was a slightly different list, if I didn't add nostalgia into it. The King of Queens.
Oh, man, so good.
And who's the... Kevin James.
Yeah.
Amber and I are just big Kevin James fans.
Yeah, he's our brand.
Are we? Do we like him ironically? No, we just literally like him. He had a stand-up special on Netflix recently, and it's so good. It's
good.
It's definitely Kevin James. If you don't like the King of Queens, if you don't like
Mall Cop.
Mall Cop. What's the new show?
Kevin Can Wait.
Kevin Can Wait. You won't like his stand-up, but to me, he's hilarious. He's clean. The King of Queens, it's him and
Leah Remini.
And they just the two of them. They live in Queens, obviously, and he's a UPS driver. And I don't know what she does.
She's like a legal secretary or something
like that. Yeah. And it's I don't know. I have nothing to say. I wasn't ready to talk about that. It was just
that's
a hilarious,
a good one. And I remember
show.
You and I thinking at the time that it was a refreshing one because it wasn't always the husband that was being the dolt.
Yeah.
In the show, like she would do some really stupid things.
Yeah,
well. They would kind of take turns being the ones
during that time of like Tim the Toolman Taylor, Home Improvement, and he was always the
everybody
the
loves
doofy
Raymond,
husband, and he's always making mistakes, and the wife would come in and save the day, but Leah Remini? Carrie would always she would do something equally as dumb, and Kevin would come and save the day. So it's really, really great. And so there's this new show called Kevin Can Wait.
Yeah.
In the first season, it was Kevin James married to this other lady with these 2 kids, not related at all to King of Queens. And then the season finale, like we find out that, Kevin used to work with this other cop, and it was...
Leah Remini,
the lady who played Carrie in the old show. And then between the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2, they killed off the wife.
On a sitcom.
And so now it's Kevin James and I cannot remember, Leah Remini. Jessica Remini. What's her name?
You said it's Leah. I don't know how you pronounce her last name.
Yeah.
Leah
Remini. Anyway, the lady who played Carrie. And so now it's very King of Queensy.
Yeah, they not really in a relationship, but they
are moving that direction.
Interact
and they have a similar
way.
chemistry.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So anyway, there you go.
They're trying to recreate King of Queens. It's kind of awkward, weird. But they've got Chael.
Oh, Chael. Whoever that guy is,
he really helps.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So there you go. My number 6, Kevin Can Wait / the King of Queens.
Okay, fun. So now we're on my number 1. My number 1 aired from 1994 to 2004, 10 seasons with 236 episodes. That's a lot of episodes.
That's a lot of episodes.
This was the TV show Friends.
Shocker.
Friends is it is my favorite sitcom. Obviously, we just went over that.
Mm-hmm.
And it is about 6 friends in New York City. 2 of them are siblings. The rest are all just friends. 3 guys, 3 girls. And they just get into all sorts of hijinks and silliness. They go through dating and ups and downs, and it's just done really well.
There you go. Yeah, I think that if anybody is listening to this episode and they've listened to the last 24, they are not shocked that your number 1 is Friends.
Yeah.
It's again, a great show. I think there's something about this idea of and we've talked about this on the show, there's 6 people and they all live right next door and they all live right in New York City and they're hanging out and they're at the coffee house together and they're just doing life together. And it's like we want that level of relationship. We want to know and be known like they were on Friends. And so I think that's part of its draw, as well as well acted, well written.
Yeah, it was a great cast. They really developed each character over the years. A lot of funny stuff happens to them. They live in a really nice big apartment unrealistic for New York. The
Yeah.
girls do that big purple apartment. But I recently finished another podcast called Best of Friends where they went through each episode and podcasted about it, and that was really fun to rehash the episodes with that gang.
What is your favorite episode?
My favorite episode is the one where everybody finds out. I think that's what it's called. Each episode is called the one where something. So the one where everybody finds out, it's when they find out about Monica and Chandler being in a relationship.
Oh.
And there's a scene when Ross he's looking at buying the apartment across the street. And I think he might be the only one, because Monica's his sister, is the only one who doesn't know that Monica and Chandler are together. But you can see across the alley into Monica and Chandler's apartment. You can see them kissing. So Rachel and Phoebe are trying to distract him. And they start jumping around and like flapping their hands and like, oh, this is such a great apartment. And he kind of looks at them like they're crazy. And then he just starts jumping around too. He doesn't know why they're jumping around. And he's really funny, that Ross. He's got a lot of good physical comedy. So
there you go.
I think that's my favorite.
Is he your favorite character?
I would always say Chandler's my favorite, but doing that rewatch with the podcast, I did really appreciate the comedy of Ross. He might be the funniest written character.
There you go.
Yep.
Awesome. There you go.
So my number one was Friends. I do that just as smoothly as you.
Good job. Very good job, Amber. Segment 2. A sitcom quiz. Amber, as we do quizzes here, and
there's a question mark on the end of that.
As we do, we theme the quiz on the topic of the night. Is that a shocker?
No.
And that's what this one is.
I'm still waiting for why you said it with a question.
I don't know, just because I do different things. This is how this game is going to be played, Amber. I'm going to give you the synopsis of a sitcom, and you will give the sitcom name.
Sweet.
It's short. I mean, it's not short. We don't do short quizzes. It's simple. It's easy to play, but difficult to master. This game is kind of like the chess of the quizzes that we've done here on segments. So
easy to play, but difficult to master.
Exactly.
I like that.
So I am going to. What do we have here? People will be excited to know that we have 12.
I'm excited.
And we're going to try again for Brian.
Okay.
And you need to get 7 of these.
All right.
Okay.
I feel like this is good. This is my world. Did you use a thesaurus?
No, I used IMDb. I used my brain to think of sitcoms, and then I used IMDb to find out a synopsis.
Okay.
And every once in a while, I will remove the main character's name,
sure,
if that would give it away.
Okay.
But most of the time, I would get 0 of these.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
So.
Okay.
Okie doke. Let's start easy. Let's start you in easy, Amber. Okay? Brothers Brian and Joe Hackett attempt to run an airline on the New England island of Nantucket while surrounded by their various wacky friends and employees.
Wings.
Wings.
Maybe I went too fast for
you did?
Friends that want to play along. So, Wings, I remember, I think, did it have that guy from Monk in it? I think, maybe.
I think so.
Thomas Hayden Church, I think, was in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It was not on for a long time, but I watched it.
It was on for a long time.
Was
1990 to 1997.
Oh, my goodness. No wonder I saw some episodes.
Yeah. Okay. Good one, Amber. Okay. I told you we're going to start you out easy. Unable to find a job anywhere else and facing eviction, Maya Gallo is forced to work for Blush, her father's fashion magazine. Personality conflicts quickly ensue with high-strung ex-model Nina Van Horn, philandering photographer Elliot, and wise guy secretary Dennis Finch.
Nice. I bet I watched every episode of this one. I'm pausing just a moment to give listeners a chance to answer. It is referring to taking pictures when it's called Just Shoot Me.
That's great. And
David Spade.
David Spade
yes.
vehicle. So good. 1997 to 2003.
Yeah, the guy who played Elliot was also Veronica Mars's dad.
Veronica Mars's dad. Interesting. All right. I'm afraid, I said we're going to start easy. I'm afraid the whole game's easy. We'll see.
Oh, honey, don't. I love this.
When
great.
Marcy Bradford dies.
Ooh.
When Marcy Bradford dies, she leaves her teenage daughter, Nicole, in the custody of a father she has never met, or rather, 2 fathers. Michael, a straight-laced and formal man, and Joey, a wild artist. Both were Marcy's former boyfriends, and together they provide a unique balance of parenting skills for young Nicole.
I was not allowed to watch this one.
Uh-oh.
I think because maybe there was concerns about the relationship between the father figures. I don't know. It's not called My Two Fathers, as was in your description. It's called My Two Dads.
That is correct. Do you know when it ran?
No.
1987 to 1990.
Oh, really?
And we have... this is the first one that I found that has Paul Reiser.
Oh, really? He wasn't one of the dads.
He was one of the dads.
He was a dad?
He was a dad.
Wow.
This is an early Paul Reiser vehicle.
Before that other one he was in.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Two young single ad men must disguise themselves as women to live in the one apartment they can afford.
Is it?
That's it.
I did not watch this either, but if I'm correct, it stars Tom Hanks.
Correct.
It is Bosom Buddies.
To get the point, you have to say the other buddy's name, or the actor's name.
Ooh.
Tom Hanks and who?
I can't picture it. I don't know.
You would never know. Peter Scolari. I have no idea who that is.
You would never know.
I would never know. Okay. Amber, you're crushing it. 4 right so far.
Yay.
A college student is a live-in housekeeper at the Powell household. He, along with his friend Buddy, attempt to juggle his studies, friendships, and duties to the family.
Charles in charge of our days and our nights. Do. Charles in charge of our wrongs and our rights.
Who played Charles?
Charles was Scott Baio.
Correct. Amber, you're so good at this game.
This is so fun.
After being fired from her job and dumped by her boyfriend, a cosmetics saleswoman is hired to take care of the 3 children of a rich English widower. As time passes, the two fall for each other.
Ooh. Fran Drescher. Ooh. The nanny.
The nanny.
Oh, no.
Amber, correct. Almost got you on
it.
that one.
Wow. This is great. I looked at the list of the best 100 sitcoms of all time to pick my top 5 from.
Oh,
none of these were on it.
Really? That's crazy. These are the ones that
But
came into my brain.
Watched them. I love it.
Here's one a little bit tougher, maybe. In this TV series, we see the adventures and goofs of a young schoolboy named Corey and his best friend Sean. At school, they aren't very popular with girls, and they have enemies like Harley, Joey, and Frankie. They also often get in trouble with Mr. Feeney, the school's funny principal.
I think this was maybe supposed to be an update on Saved by the Bell. You think?
Yes,
they
that's
maybe
very
didn't
possible.
get along with a lot of girls, but they did get along with Topanga. And this was a little show called Boy Meets World.
Yeah, you're so good. Okie doke. The Winslow family is a pretty normal family, except for one thing. Their neighbor, Steven. A genius in klutz, Steve makes some really weird inventions while driving the Winslows insane.
This is a show.
Mm-hmm.
Inventions. Winslow. The Winslow part sounds familiar. Was there any other names in there?
Yeah, Steven.
Steven.
Their neighbor, Steven.
Steven makes weird inventions. Man, I'm drawing a blank on this one.
Hey, I'll help you with this. Did I do that? Steven Urkel.
Steven Urkel, that's the problem. He went the full name. He did inventions?
Yeah.
That was called Family Matters.
Correct.
Wow, yeah, I didn't watch a
one.
lot of that one. That was
maybe
I was a little bit too old for that when it came out, I think.
That ran from 1989 to 1998.
No, that was perfect timing for me, but I just
It was
didn't
a
watch it.
spin-off of Perfect Strangers.
That's very
Is that
strange.
crazy?
Yeah.
Very, very, very wild. I did not know that. Okay. It's hard enough to raise a kid
Winslows.
nowadays. But when you have to cope with these kids, things tend to get out of hand. Dr. Seaver, a psychologist, and his wife Maggie, a journalist, tried to do their best raising their family. And although their kids, Mike, Ben, Carol, and Chrissy, caused them endless problems, they managed to keep the family close together.
I didn't watch this one either. I don't know that I wasn't allowed to. Possibly. Maybe they were a little too liberal. Ironic, because it's Kirk Cameron.
Yeah, very ironic.
That was called Growing Pains.
Amber, good job.
Receivers.
You're doing great. Father Ted Lawson creates a robot, Vicky,
Oh, my gosh.
played by Tiffany Brissett. The family, Ted, Joan, and Jamie, keep Vicky's identity secret and pretend that she is their daughter.
I don't know if I've ever thought to this moment that was a real girl playing Vicky. She did a really good job. She really seemed like a robot. She really did.
She did. She's great.
That's amazing. She was just a kid.
But do you know the name of the show, Amber? Stop stalling.
She's a small wonder.
Amber, you're amazing. In this comedy, married New York couple Paul and Jamie share their lives and offer wit and wisdom about relationships. Paul is a documentary filmmaker. Jamie works as a public relations specialist. Together, they grow and mature as they learn the art of staying married and loving it. Along for the ride is their ever-tolerant dog, Murray.
Okay, I can sure picture the show, and I knew when you said Paul Reiser earlier that this was his other show, but I couldn't think of the name, and I was hoping it would come to me. I don't think it did. This was a spinoff, or Friends was technically kind of a spinoff of this, because Phoebe, the actress that played Phoebe, was a snotty waitress on this show. Dang it, what was it called? I think it starts with a B.
Don't swear, Amber.
I didn't swear. Goodness.
Similar to swearing.
Oh, no.
It wasn't really.
Does it start with a B?
I don't know.
I don't know if I can come up with it.
Sorry, Amber, you've run out of time. It's called Mad About You.
No, it doesn't start with a B.
Bad About You, maybe? I don't know. But you did not get that one.
No,
Good job.
I sure didn't.
Yeah, that's the second Paul Reiser. His wife's name, the actress who played his wife, was Helen Hunt.
Oh, sure.
Paul and Helen. Great show. We've got one more, Amber. You've obviously defeated my quiz, but you got one more.
Good. Bring it.
A high-strung and cynical man's life is never the same when his naive but good-natured cousin comes to America to live with him.
That's got to be naive but good-natured Belky in Perfect Strangers.
Amber, good job. That is
great.
correct. Perfect Strangers. So you only missed 2 of those.
Mad About You and
did I do
oh,
that?
yeah, Family Matters.
Yeah. So there you go. Good job, Amber. You defeated my sitcom quiz. And we were playing, as I think we mentioned earlier in the show, for Brian. So, Brian, I know it's been a long wait, and you were wondering, will I ever get a sticker? But yes, Amber has won it for you.
So you claim that sticker by sending us a message on one of our posts or via Gmail and say, hey, I listened to that episode and I won, and give us your address. If you want to be a contestant, if you want us to play for you, you can leave us some feedback or send us an email and you will get entered to win.
Yeah, and even if you don't have any feedback, just send us an email. No, better than that. Share a post or share the show with somebody that you like. If we see that happening, we will enter you into being one of the game winner receivers. If Amber can continue winning the games.
Yeah.
That wasn't a very clear statement that I made, but I think it was clear.
Clear enough.
Content. Might be an edit point. As always, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast player. Amber, what do you use to listen to your podcasts on?
I use the Apple podcast thing. He's laughing. My superior podcast platform.
I use Pocket Cast, but there are a zillion free and some even better inexpensive. I think I paid $5.99 for Pocket Cast or something, but it's great. So
yeah, if you're a serious podcaster, it might be worth.
And so it would really help us out if you subscribe on any of those places, on Spotify, on iTunes, on your podcast player. That would be great. Share the show on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you share things, and that would really help us out as well.
So where do you listen to podcasts? How do you find time to listen to podcasts?
I listen to podcasts when I drive around. So
you can
when I'm
sync
on my
your
way
Bluetooth with your car radio.
Yep. And so on my way to work or on my way to school, I listen. You and I are in training to go to Israel, so we are walking a lot more. And so I'll listen to podcasts as I'm walking. I also listen to podcasts when I'm mowing the lawn. I kind of got to crank the volume up a little bit.
I bet.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, and those are the places where I listen. Where do you listen?
I also listen in the car. I don't have a fancy new car like yours that automatically picks up my phone, but I bought a thing that I plug into the cigarette lighter, and you just have to put the radio station on there and match it up to your radio and then sync your phone. It takes a minute to figure out when you first get it, but now every time I get in the car, it just goes bloop, bloop, and it's connected, and I push play on my phone and plays my podcast. So I get a lot done that way. I listen to them when I do the dishes. I just stick it in my pocket and have the volume on my phone so I can hear it. So we don't just sit around and listen to a podcast like old-timey radio shows. Yeah. Although, I'm sure that could be great fun. Mm-hmm. But you can fit them in, folding the laundry, doing chores.
Yeah, all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
So, share the show with people that you think would like it. We obviously don't do any marketing, and we would love to grow the listening audience a little bit. So,
yeah, sharing a post on your Facebook page is huge. It makes it so that lots of people end up seeing it.
That would be awesome. Thanks so much to Emma for the logo and graphics. If you want her to draw you something, she is taking commissions of Hauntings on Twitter, and she's saving up to go to Gen Con. I'm so jealous. She's going to Gen Con this year.
Lucky girl.
But she could use a couple bucks, so look her up on Twitter @of Hauntings.
Yep, and our intro and outro music was provided by EDM Samurai. You can find him on SoundCloud at EDM Samurai.
All right, well, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.